long as I remember, we've lived in Elysian peace. Time ebbs and flows like the tide. Chaos here is but a dream. But could there be another reality? Another world, another me. Across the sea I gaze, dreaming of another shore. Somehow I feel the rift, a gate leading to the other world. Is this where angels lose their way? What lies beyond the fields of time? Should I go or should I stay?
I, so now that they can hear you.
Oh,
Fuck. Hello, everyone.
thanks for that.
Welcome back.
That intro was just amazing, Chris. You did such a beautiful job. That was
Yeah.
like literature. Yes.
Thank you. So thank you once again for joining us. We are Occultist Anonymous. We are setting forth into a brand new adventures into a sea of stars. But before we get started in our magical girl adventure, before we mechanize our hopes and dreams to fight off the Leviathans, let's head on over to Patreon and read off some wonderful names of everyone that keeps us afloat and gets us, some money for some equipment upgrades and funnel some money towards artists to make some wonderful art for our upcoming return to Mage the Awakening.
It's happening, I promise. It's coming, I promise.
So thank you once again to Adam, Adele, Alice, Al, Elaine, Alan, Alchemy, Alex, Alexander. That's a lot of Al's, y'all. Allison also. Alpha Wolf, Alzrit, Andrew, Angfalith, Anima, Bernie, Blackfire, Blake, Brandon, Buck, Chandra. I've got people that aren't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you might need to filter.
Yeah. Rip. Okay. Clean take. Adele, Alice, Al, Alexander, Alpha Wolf, Alzrit, Bernie, Buck, Chris, Doc, Emil, Ethan, George. I crashed my car into the bridge. I don't care.
Crash my car to a bridge.
I'm the real. James, John, Josh, Camo, Cat Feathers, Klaus. May magical maidens and mechs make many mirthful memories.
Ooh,
Melissa, Milo V3, Moku, Mozart D minor, Other Guy, Perry, Food, Porter, Puppeteer, Riafio, Ryan, Sean, Shixara, Thomas, Toast, Vincent, Vortex Falcon, Y Gender when you conserve the Iron Pyramid, Zoltan, and Ethernalis the Mad.
Yes.
God, okay, how do I even start this? We are playing
Yeah.
a game that has recently had a very successful Kickstarter as far as the indie Kickstarter scene goes. I personally have been a fan of the main author for a number of years. Shout out to @CommutingCrow. Andrew is that's on Twitter if we're still going to a hell site. Andrew is a wonderful human being, and they have written a Forged in the Dark, i.e. Blades in the Dark sort of system for exploring magical girl fiction through a queer revelatory lens, which is a lot to say that we're going to be pretty and we're going to be great and we're going to explore what it means to try and save the world when everything about it kind of sucks a little bit.
When it's not trying to save
obviously has no bearing on the real world. Our real world is perfect and wonderful. We don't have a problem with fascistic institutions.
Yeah, it is in no way the worst timeline.
So with that, a little bit about what we're doing here. Girl by Moonlight has several base settings, play sets to explore. You've got your sort of standard magical girls, your card captors, your Sailor Moon kind of thing. There is a darker version of that if you want to do some like Madoka. It's pretty rough out there.
I looked that
was
one
the only
up.
one I didn't want to do.
I looked up. I was like, "What's so wrong with?" Oh no.
Yeah, it's a little hard. There is also one that pulls on a lot of themes from like Paprika and Persona to do sort of dreamscape conspiracy exploration. And then there's the one that we're going to be playing, which is A Sea of Stars, which is in the vein of your Escaflowne with a little bit of like Evangelion, Pacific Rim,
Gundam.
Yeah, I mean, Gundam tends to be more hard sci-fi.
That's true. That's true.
Whereas this is all about, feelings don't give a shit about your facts.
Mhm.
And in this setting that we have partially built together, I was given a little bit of free reign to get some things going, and then we've collaborated since then. We are going to be set, sometime in the 2400s thereabouts. Non-specific. Obviously, everyone here knows what year it is in character, but like, it doesn't really matter to us. But there is a time of burgeoning utopia-esque development of human civilization. We're existing in a post-scarcity world, and have discovered a seemingly limitless clean power source, which of course had a name at the time, but something about using it, especially how quickly it spread worldwide to be used to power everything, drew the attention of beings from beyond space, beyond time, not really known. But Earth got fucked, y'all. And so we're now, I would say, a generation and a half later, 50, 75 years, something like that. And there is now only one last bastion of humanity that has been built, and a culture of sort of fatalistic, neo-Greek, neoclassical sort of thing has taken over when people started pointing out that this whole tragedy that humanity is going through is not unlike Prometheus stealing fire from the gods and bringing it to the humans. And so that's that energy source, that Promethium. Not holy Promethium from Warhammer 40k. Games Workshop, please do not sue me. We are not going that grimdark, please. Led to, instead of powering humanity's future, is now powering humanity's last defenses, as humanity developed these semi-sentient mechs called engines, that require a pilot to emotionally connect with them to unlock their full potential. We've established lots of cool setting stuff. There's like, people have essentially over the last 75 years just like really leaned into this whole Greek thing. So as you're trying to picture everything in your head, and I'll go into descriptions and stuff too, but lots and lots of Corinthian columns and New Age cyber marble kind of
Yes,
stuff.
dude, I'm
Yeah,
sorry
cyber
for
marble
that.
is a word that I came up with like a while ago, and I was like very proud of it. But essentially these there are a series of like essentially oracles that will test various draftees and volunteers to see if they are resonant with the engines. And what used to be a fleet of at least 100 engines is now down to the last 6. And there are,
You only need 6.
yeah.
5 fingers.
So these aliens, these Leviathans, especially in the last, I would say, 30 years, especially with the uptick and the adoption of the Greek culture and the founding of Neo-Elysia as the last bastion of humanity, and the building of the Argo as the flagship to take the engines out into space to meet the Leviathans in battle further away from Earth, to try and minimize the destruction in this sort of very Pyrrhic war that is ongoing. So with that said, this is not just a story of combat against unbeatable, unknowable Leviathan alien gods. It is a story of humans and of, as I said, the game itself is about seeing things through a queer lens of outsiders and being your true self and stuff like that. And so that's a lot of what we're going to be exploring here. And I think we can probably just jump straight into our cycle of play here, and we'll meet our characters as they go through their daily life, and we see what their obligations are. What are the stresses of their life in this sort of fascistic military organization that has spawned surrounding the engines and the defense of Earth. And so, if everyone would go ahead and let's get some rolls going. I need you all to roll your lowest stat out of your stars, sun, or moon. That would be just like in Blades in the Dark, whichever one you have the least amount of dots in the left column.
Mm-hmm. Go one and all. Rolling sun. No bonus dice. There you go.
Okay.
Look at this guy with an actual die in his obligation track.
Yeah, and a worse result. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's start with Drew. Malphus is rolling moon here. Our three stats here, all at home, are sun, moon, and stars. Sun is going to be consequences of violence and fear. Moon is despair and heartbreak, and stars will be panic and social pressure. These are your sort of just like prowess and resolve and stuff like that in Blaze in the Dark. So for Malphus here, we're coming up a little bit short. So you're going to take 3 stress. Because what we're doing here is you're going to take 6 minus your result of stress to start off the game. Blades
yeah.
Grow by Moonlight will have you start with stress and then clears it all after the end of the mission, versus Blades of the Dark where you have to spend like downtime to indulge your vices and stuff like this. And so this just represents like things that you are sort of just downtrodden by the stresses of everyday life and living and not being your authentic self in the things. So let's see. Yeah, this seems pretty heartbreaking here. I think we zoom in on Malphus, crouched in his bunk. Just a stowaway cot in a corner of the barrack section of the flagship. We're not in Neolesia currently. It is not the gold and luxury that you are afforded when you're off duty, so to speak. And you have a piece of mail. It's essentially just a little tablet passed to you as one of the superior officers walks by and is handing these out. And it is a video recording of one of your friends from before you became a pilot. He is in the garb of a prisoner, which you know that Malphus escaped this fate very narrowly. And you can talk about that here in a second. But the message here is that it's his last day.
Oh my gosh.
And a bit of kindness extended to him by one of the guards has allowed him to get a message to you, wishing you only the best, and thanking you for all of the time that you spent protecting the group of runaways and draft dodgers. And that now you're, even against your will, on to do bigger and better things. And so simply give them hell.
And I'm in like a barracks, or like I have a small room as part of the barracks.
There's like 3 other cots in here, but you're the only one here.
Okay, cool. That data pad gets thrown into the corner. And I don't mean tossed into the corner. I mean like it's probably going to break.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, do you want to introduce Malphus a little bit?
Yeah. Malphus is he's on brand. He's he's lean and lithe. Probably definitely on the gaunt side. Not because he isn't fed well, but because he doesn't eat. He's very, very haunted by demons, and sometimes those demons send video messages. And so yeah, Malphus does have like really short, like crew close cut hair. It is definitely not by his choice. I imagine he probably has some kind of, not maybe literal ankle monitor, but he has something so like other people can walk about the ship freely, but his every movement is tracked. He probably has freedom to move around the ship, but they know where he is at all times. And yeah, he's mostly mumbling under his breath at this point now about they could have just press ganged him. They could have at least put him into a unit. It's absolutely ridiculous that they're executing, these people just because like they tried to avoid this, and now it's all a charade. It's all theater. He knows why they're doing it, and he's pissed and he's pacing, and he probably has only bunk because he'd probably be yelling and screaming this kind of shit to anybody else who would hear him. Yeah, he's pissed. He gets riled up and then marches out of the room, headed for whatever he can use as a physical punching bag.
Craig, let's talk about Saraia.
She's in a lot of ways a misfit. Given that humanity is essentially swirling the drain, a lot of the things that make people human have been cast aside. So there's no intimacy. It's all a fight for delaying what a lot of people are viewing as the inevitable. But Saraia is somebody who lives in hope, and intimacy and love. So she doesn't really fit in with how the rest of society has been coming along. And that's caused her a lot of issues in the past. And currently, it's a military organization, tut, right? Follow orders, do your job, no touchy-feely stuff, but that's not how she's wired. So it's got her into some issues with the chain of command and that kind of stuff. She is petite, blonde, soft features, like no angular, big heavy brows or anything. Like she's a smiley, friendly sort of person. Ponytail, pale skin, tends to wear lighter colored clothing. She's very open and friendly. She's shy. She's not an overbearing personality. Sort of more quietly supportive in the background. Wears her heart on her sleeve. That's kind of who she is.
Yeah, so I think we zoom in on Saraia in the cockpit of one of the mechs, running diagnostics and tests and baselines and stuff like that. Tell me, what mech are you in? What engine?
I'm gonna say Diana.
Yeah.
Diana is a very lithe and agile, almost spindly legged engine. I think we established out of character here that there's kind of a core that was created for the engines, and then they are all like masterpiece level works crafted around that. And so every one of them has a lot of bespoke is a good term for it too. And as we said, this one is in a setting where you have people naming these monsters after the Greek gods. To name them after their Roman counterparts is power in its own way. And so we zoom in on Saraia in the testing phase of everything here, with your friend, your acquaintance,
Sure.
Sonia.
Yeah.
And as you are testing here, something starts to go weird. There's like a feedback of panic, of excitement, of nervous energy from the engine. You can feel it starting to doubt you. I think it's just, you can feel this intense, just emotional sneer coming at you.
And if I can run with that a little bit, I think this is sort of a recurring theme. Diana is a really big personality.
Yeah, for sure.
Very much out in the front, and Saraia is not. So I think in the history of, they've had these sorts of run-ins before where Diana wants to take charge and charge forward, and Saraia is not comfortable with that sort of thing. So
I think you just get this intense emotional feedback of Diana just sort of berating you for having already been a failure on the battlefield.
That stings.
Yep. And you can feel that like panic starting to well up, and then over the voice comms, Sonia comes in and is noticing your elevated heart rate and your I'm gonna try not to use only Evangelion terms here, but your plug depth, your sync ratio is like off the charts, right? You are way too in there deep, and bad things have happened in the past when this happens, right? And so she pulls the plug, and you get kind of almost like spat out. Like the cockpit is in the chest of these things, is what I'm kind of imagining. That core or whatever is like what you climb into, and then there's mech that kind of, and so not all of them are going to be like human, like they don't all have to be humanoid patterned, right? Like I'm sure that we don't have an Arachne, but if there was an Arachne mech, like you could be an actual fucking spider, right? That kind of thing. And Sonia, who is aware as sort of a mechanic and tech, they have to know everything that you've been through before, and she sort of points to a few things on a few different charts and goes, "What happened here?"
She's being stubborn again, or maybe I am.
We can't have that happen on missions. You have to figure this out.
I know.
And need I remind you that those in charge are not as sympathetic to your delusions.
That stings a little bit, but she tries to mask it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mean, y'all.
Gotta get that stress damage somewhere.
And I think she very cleanly breaks after that and just walks away. Right.
Oh,
and this is like one of the closer things to a friend you have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Saraia would just sort of kick a helmet across the bay to vent some frustration.
Janice.
Yes.
You done fucked up.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
You're having a bad day. Let's find out.
Real bad day.
Let's find out why.
Having a string of bad days.
Stress.
Yep. It's there. We're gonna go eclipse soon, baby.
For those at home, Ralph is going to be sitting at 5 stress.
5 out of 9.
9,
yes.
right.
Stress is more or less your health bar, outside of like actually getting injured, but for all intents and purposes, this is how far you can push yourself. And then interesting and bad things can happen when you max out your stress and go into eclipse. You get sun, moon, stars, eclipse. You get the themes here, y'all.
Mhm.
So
The birds are going to stop chirping.
Introduce us to Janice, and then we'll find out what her bad day was.
All right, sounds good. So Janice comes from another time, but that's mostly unknown to everyone else she interacts with. She carries herself with the grace of an experienced but reluctant warrior, which seems a bit strange to people because when they see her in training and they've seen her in combat, it's clear that she delights in her abilities, even when she's restraining herself. Her features are kissed by androgyny, and she has faintly severe accents to her chin, cheekbones, and brows. Another interesting trait is she has a faint vitiligo. It's more visible in low light. She has skin the color of coffee with a little bit of milk in it. She's long-limbed and wears tight bracelets and collars of electrobaster in hues of azure and ebony.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Master. Thank you.
You got it. Got it. There we go. I was inspired by Cyber Marble. Like,
Yep.
I got to offer something. I'm going to work with this. The thing that probably people have seen her, she's naturally open and warm, almost like an exuberant warrior would be. But she struggles to hide that because of why she's here, what she carries. And the one time where I think she expressed herself more publicly and was not able to restrain herself was in an interaction with Diana. And she retains a very strong personal resentment for Diana's explicit rejection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not something we've addressed here, but part of the series creation is that each player, as they're making a NPC or as they're making a player character, filling out their playbook, they had to create an engine, name it, create its impulses and virtues, and then explain why their PC can't pilot it, which is such a great, just like immediate, like everyone has a reason to be bought into the setting and like partial, responsibility for the setting and stuff like that. And I just think it's very cool. And then they all my players are wonderful as always and started feeding off of each other. I'm like, oh, I think I made this for you. It's a bad present for you. So I think we're going to have some fun with that.
It's going to be a real good time.
Quick jump in because of Ralph's origin.
Yes.
Has Janice told anybody of her origin? Is that a secret, or is it it's a weird thing? But yeah, we're going to use her because we can. Or is it a secret?
There's a single person she has told. She confided in a mechanic she's very close to, who was a part of her life in the other timeline.
Gotcha.
I think we settled on that you had timeline jumped to before you became a pilot.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's right.
So there wasn't a sort of like people already knew you and then suddenly you're different.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But this person was effectively the same. And so because they were so similar, there are probably differences that Janice doesn't remember, right? But we're so similar from Janice's subjective perspective that it was a strong anchor and source of comfort, and so confided as though they were the same person. Naturally, if anything bad happens to that mechanic, it's not going to be fun for Janice.
Yeah, I think since you rolled Sun, you could have rolled whatever you wanted.
Oh,
since all of yours are tied, but you did roll Sun.
Okay, I would have rolled Moon to represent the fact that Janice is constantly trying to think about is now the time that I need to talk to Malphus. But I'm happy to go with Sun.
Because that way we have a sun, moon, and stars.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, let's do that.
So yeah, we're we jump over to like the it's kind of an open hangar area. It's not where the engines are, but it has been, there are like mats laid out on the ground and some training dummies and weights and stuff like that. It's more or less turned into a gym for the pilots and the crew.
Can I add some flavor there? This is where, the other engines used to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. This is hangar like 4.
Yep.
And it's
And
like,
we only
this is
have
where
the
I put
one.
my engines if I had them.
Yep.
Dingleberg. And you're currently being put through the paces in some like hand-to-hand drills and stuff like that.
Fuck yes.
With your commanding officer, a man
Excellent.
named Ephialtes,
Ooh.
who is a giant, just intimidating man who exudes everything it is to be Greek.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He prides himself in a multicultural, worldwide organization of stragglers and survivors, that he is one of the few actual Greeks participating in the culture. And it's like, it's this sort of thing where he's essentially talking about cultural appropriation, but he does it in such like the worst fucking way.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like,
especially
he'd have
because-
a point if he wasn't such a dick about it.
And this is after 400
Yeah, yeah.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. And also like modern Greeks aren't ancient Greek, so
Right.
and he's a known like chauvinist and just a real fucking asshole. And
Yeah.
I think he if you're okay with establishing this, like, there have been times where he has like crossed a line hitting on you and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's totally fine.
And so every time that you've turned him down, that next session of workouts and stuff is brutal.
God, yeah.
And I think that's what today is you just like, he's like not pulling his punches or
geez.
drills or anything like that, and you're just literally just getting beat to hell.
Yeah.
But he's the epihipparch, so what are you gonna do about it?
What the hell are you gonna do?
Yes, Drew?
Malphus is probably going to. Well, I did say he was coming to find somebody to beat on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, can I jump in and basically watch as if effectively this guy's picking on Janice and be like, "Yo, I'm in. I got next."
Oh God!
I think that translates well into going into downtime activities. So it sounds like you are maybe trying to make a connection here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Do
trying
it.
to remember my downtime options.
You got make a connection,
Mm-hmm.
where you get links generated between you and another PC or you and an engine.
Right.
You got help a friend recover. No one has any injuries right now, so that's probably not going to come up.
Mhm.
You can start a long-term project specifically to build out, repair parts of the ship, which is how you get the like turf and upgrades and stuff like that, like you do in Blades in the Dark. Or you can make preparations, which will fill up the readiness track, which will help us be better at missions and things.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think Malphus sees this as building a connection, but for me,
Absolutely
yes.
is, though.
Yeah.
For sure. So you swagger in and sort of
More of a stalk.
yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And what action are we doing here? Because you're gonna roll an action.
I am thinking that it's probably going to be Defy, because
Standing up
Malphus.
to authority, physical altercation, very much
Yep.
like getting in the way of what he is trying to do to your co-pilot.
Yep. And that's just click it, right? I don't think I
That's
need to
just
add
click
anything
it.
else. Oh, position.
Doesn't matter during downtime.
Okay, that's what I thought. No, I'm not transcendent. No bonus dice. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love a 6.
Yeah, because and just to throw the flavor on here, Malphus is going in. Oh, hey, Ephialtes. Yeah, I need some training. You know, when you're done beating up Janice, like he's that direct, and it is entirely Malphus's intent to miss every like the pad hands come up and he's just missing and like driving like knuckles into like wrists and stuff like that. He is going out of his way to hurt this guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. With a 6 on a make a connection, Janice gets 4 links with you.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, yes.
Does that go
links
both
to-
ways?
What's up?
Oh, never mind. You were
Janice
explaining.
gets 4.
Oh,
Because you make a connection, you have connected them to you in this little moment of and connection. A link can be spent. There are explanations here. A link can be spent to so Janice has the links. So Janice can say either you or the linked protag can recover 2 stress. You can ignore a harm that you've taken for a roll, which again, harm is like getting injured and then having either less effect, minus dice, or just straight up like being on borderline death if you have a tier 3 harm. You can spend a link to grant a dice, but our series ability is that when you spend a link to help an ally, they get +2 dice instead of 1.
Oh, that's right.
That's half of it. The other half is when you assist people with stress. Other things happen. And then the last thing you can do with links is to prevent an eclipse if they get a 4 or 5 on their eclipse roll, which we'll talk about more when that comes up, if that comes up.
right. So Janice can prevent my eclipse.
Yes.
Okay, just double checking. I was hearing that right. Cool. I love this. This works even
This is
better
really good.
because
Yeah,
Malphus
Janice
can
can
be a big
recover
old
her own
asshole and
stress.
people still want to put up with him.
Janice can recover her own stress or yours, grant you bonus dice, let you ignore harm, or let you not go into eclipse.
Okay.
Okay.
That's real good.
Yeah, you just. I mean, you know that this will come back to bite you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But for now, you've essentially shamed him. You've beat him up for being a dickhead, and he's in public enough to not be able to retaliate right now.
Right. And for Malphus, it's like, what's the worst thing? They will not execute him.
It's true.
You gonna
much
put me
too
in the brig
valuable.
again? Okay.
That's pretty good.
And then for Ralph, just because I know some of the connections you have to Malphus, he like other than the "Are you done picking on Janice?" There's no like look over at her or anything like that. This is this very selfish thing, but
She could definitely feel her ears burning as this is happening. And it's certainly preoccupied with people realizing that she has feelings for him.
Malphus, do you have another downtime you'd like to do?
I think just because it's related, I might start the project for with a training facility and just spending downtime to gain 2 XP and Sun.
Cool.
Okay.
That sounds like sounds good. What sort of role do you do here to start this going?
To
make this a better, because not just training bodily, but also like especially with Sun, like
that's what I was looking at.
it is physically, but
I think this might be him. Yeah, I think this might be playing on Express a little bit.
Okay.
And just basically kind of carrying off of his initial comment to Ephialtes and like expressing that, like, listen, this is a training ground. Like, we're supposed to learn here as Malphus,
I dig it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is that a role? as well? Okay.
Mhm.
And then we don't care about these.
That'll tell us how many segments all the
Oh.
points we get. Get a 1, so
Okay.
only one segment here. That is,
Oh, right, because right now I'm working on building the training ground. I'm not
Mhm.
actually training in it. Okay, cool.
Right.
I'm with it.
So that's one segment out of 8. That's on the reference sheet.
Mhm.
But I can also give us a clock here in a sec.
Yeah, while Chris is
and
doing that.
Bastion itself, or the Bastion itself, will do that.
Mhm.
How did I do this? Oh, right.
Yeah, while Chris is doing that, guys, if you're interested in this at all, pick it up on Roll20 because, oh my god, these are the best character sheets ever.
They really
This is
are
this is the shit.
incredible.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, hey, what does sun mean? I just hover over it. I think if you're watching, you can see it kind of overlap onto the chat because it's really long, but it tells me exactly what sun is. I hover over defy. It tells me exactly what defy is for. It's, oh, fabulous.
Yeah, everything about this. Games published by Plaid Hat Games. They are, which also did Thirsty Sword Lesbians, and they've been really pushing to make all of their digital tabletop, specifically Roll20, be really nice and really like well organized and tell you almost every like you almost don't need to know the rules of the game to play the game. The character sheets are so good. So by all means check that out. Let's see. Let's go to Janice. What kind of has Janice got going on?
Okay, so there's 2. Janice has of course been regularly preoccupied with searching for indications of what's likely going to happen in this timeline, which is of course an absurd hope, right? But she's already been through one timeline. She thinks there might be indicators that she can perhaps analyze and understand that will allow her to make better choices so that her connections to others don't become the problem, but instead become the solution. And then the other thing she's trying to work on is she is trying to work on getting some kind of relationship with Diana.
Okay.
Like it is just too emotional for her that Diana doesn't talk to her. Completely non-communicative, right? Like not even going to acknowledge that you exist. I'm not even a functional sentient device around you. Like that is just too much. At least yell at me, right? Is her feeling, right? Like don't give me the silent treatment.
Give me an error message.
Yes, exactly. Something.
You yelled at Saraia. Why won't you yell at me?
Yes, exactly.
Cool. This I think is more of a long-term project.
Cool. Sounds good to me.
Than a bond with an engine. Specifically, you can't pilot this currently.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to give you connection to
No.
you can pilot. Right.
Yeah. And I'm not looking for that, of course. This is just her trying to grapple with her feelings of rejection. And I'm okay with either of them, right? Like the searching for clues is also useful to her.
Yeah. I mean, I like the long-term project idea. You tell me
Awesome.
what kind of role you're doing to do it.
Yeah. The first thing she would do is because she's inclined to look through archives, right? Is she'd search for any information about this having happened before.
Okay.
She thinks this is weird. It's not familiar to her, right? Like in her experience, if an engine doesn't permit a pilot to enter them, right, then they would at least say something. There's some indication, but the whole shutdown completely, no information, just seems so bizarre to her.
Sure.
And also, of course, like a personal assault that she's like, okay, well, after she calmed down, I would imagine it took her at least a week to calm down from how like intense that revulsion seemed. She would then start looking for information. Has this ever happened? Is there anything like this?
Sounds great.
Cool.
Yeah, what skill is that?
I think maybe analyze, if that's the one that applies.
Sure.
Cool.
That seems, yeah.
Looking through historical archives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Then I will roll analyze.
This long-term project doesn't have to be always the same.
Excellent.
Action.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah, go ahead and hit it.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, there's like 4 pop-ups to go through when you're doing a roll.
That's right. Yeah, I remember now. All right.
Nice.
All right, a 4. A mixed success. That's
Not
gonna get
bad.
you. Oh, Drew, I shorted you
Shorted me a section.
a tick. It's 2, 3, 4, not 1, 2, 3.
Oh, nice.
So this is going to be 3 out of 8 segments for Janice bonding with Diana.
Cool.
And 2 segments of the training ground. Cool. How about your other one?
Yeah, let's do something different. So the other one, I think. Oh, you know what? She's gonna ask around about Malphus. She's starting to get bold. Let's gather information about anyone he's connected to. She's now too, intrigued. He did something on her behalf. Before she was trying to avoid it, right? Like, oh, gotta be reluctant about this. I can't make any mistakes. He took the first step in her mind, and thereby permitting her to satisfy her curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Does this make a
So-
connection?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she's going to try and make a connection, even if it's at a distance.
I could also see how this could be make preparation.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that sounds
Your
good.
fellow pilots and
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
down
Yeah,
to know
that seems more.
their fighting strategies and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's a good
Yes.
first step.
I like that. Yeah, yeah. Considering she's struggling with that, her inclination would just be to go up and talk to Malphus.
Right.
She hasn't even acknowledged what he did. Whereas in the other timeline, one, she probably wouldn't have taken it from Ephialtes, but
Yeah.
but 2, right? She definitely would have expressed her gratitude to Malphus.
Yeah. Again, just like all these things. Tell me what you want to roll. Tell me about
Cool, awesome. Then let's see. Ooh,
There's an argument to be made for conceal if you're like spying on him.
that's what I was going to say. Yeah, she's trying to do this surreptitiously, so I think she is going to try and roll conceal, which she's trying to get better at, but is not particularly good. So we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, a 4 and a
That's
6. You got
Oh,
no dice,
no.
so you
Not bad.
you get the lower of those.
Yep,
You got a
no
4.
worries.
So we get 3 ticks on the readiness track.
Sweet.
And you also treat this as a gather information roll.
Yay. Okay, let me look at those results then.
You should have your own questions on
Yep.
your sheet.
They are pulling it up. There we go. Cool. I got a 4, 1 question, and 1 follow-up.
Okay.
So the first question is, has Malphus ever lost someone he loved deeply?
I'm gonna say no.
You've definitely
cool.
lost people, but not like
Yeah.
a true love sort of level.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then the follow-up question, of course, is, does Malphus know of anyone who loved him deeply?
Probably in the past, yeah. There's probably people that he has shied away from that, especially doing the draft dodging and stuff like that. There's like, oh, there's these relationships like we can't hang around, we can't be near each other. We have to, yeah. So there was probably
There's
somebody,
networks and stuff like that. Yeah.
right?
Cool. Tragic. Love
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, you start to get this picture of like someone who has deliberately kept themselves apart.
It's like I'm playing the
which, I mean,
playbook Outsider.
Ralph and I have established that like that is very different from Malphus in the timeline you came from.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Saraia, what are you getting up to?
Well, I think I'm going to try and establish a connection with Diana.
Ooh, yeah.
Triggered an empathize roll. Because of my playbook, I start with 2 links to myself.
Okay.
So I'd like to
Oh,
spend
cool.
one of those on my empathize.
Yeah, you are playing
The harmony.
the harmony.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
We won't go into it just yet. We'll wait for like a good time to reveal it. But the playbook, I would say, is based off of Garnet from Steven Universe in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So let that sink in how you will, how we're going to accomplish that. So yeah, you go back for seconds on Diana. Is this? I mean, it can even just be like the continuation of that scene from before, right? Of like you sitting there.
Yeah, like spending a few minutes
Rejected.
cool off and like, right, I got to
Yeah.
do this and go back.
Cool.
And she'll approach it from a point of view of like, I know that I'm a handle, like it's difficult for you to work with and that kind of thing, and approach it that way. Effect is standard.
Yeah, for the downtime, you can just click
Effect
through
doesn't
all
matter
4 of
during
those.
downtime. You just click
Okay.
through.
Input value transcendent, no. Okay. And bonus dice. I get 1 for the link, 2 for the link.
I wouldn't spend the link during this.
Oh, you would? Okay.
I don't think that would be a wise decision.
Okay.
Cool. 3. So it, you're trying. I think you can still feel that very haughty, like looking down her emotional nose at you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a begrudging sort of, if you insist, right?
Yes.
And in my mind, I think it's like you don't have a lot of other options.
If you are the
Let me
best
go.
I have to work with currently, then
Mhm.
let me bathe my weapons in their blood once more.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. So you do get 2 links with Diana, which you can spend while piloting the robot.
The engine.
The engine. I'm gonna say all things, okay?
Yeah.
Engine is the technical term here in universe, both in the game and in the universe.
The
They're
giant
both-
robot lady is totally fine with me.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and as you establish that connection, you feel that sort of fine. There's you just see like the points of the like missiles in like the quiver on her back just like blink red a few times.
Yes.
All right. That's 1. I'm not sure what would be the best move here. I think I got 2 options. I wanted to go to Sonya and try and get a link because that was just hurtful.
Links only PCs or
only PCs. Okay. So then I will go for Malphus. The Malphus coming to the defense sort of
real
twig.
quick, not to fully put you off of interacting with NPCs because those sorts of interactions can be readiness rolls.
Okay.
Of getting the crew, getting yourself ready for the next battle and stuff like that. So we can always have we don't always have to just have PC to PC interactions as our only bets of role playing and stuff like that. So
cool.
Welcome to do whatever works for you and your character. But
yeah,
to make sure
I'll still go for Malphus and just as a like in the mess hall after training or during a bit of a downtime, just acknowledge that it was a good thing, like a capital G good thing, to come to the defense of one of your teammates.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Just because you're a bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
For make a connection, something I'd forgotten. If the character you're targeting with this would appreciate what you're doing, you get a bonus die.
Oh. So Drew would have got a bonus die.
Yeah. Already got a 6, so likely.
Oh, that's right.
Gonna get better, but
yeah.
Could be a critical. You never know. So you're gonna hit a D6 real fast. That's fine.
No.
Nope. Okay. Yeah. So.
But yes, for Malphus, absolutely. Yes, take that bonus die.
Okay.
like much as Malphus pushes people away, puts on the persona and stuff like that. Yeah. And especially
And I
especially among the pilots.
Mm.
What are you rolling?
Empathy.
Empathize. Cool. Bonus die comes in. Get you that 4.
Cool.
So that's going to be 3 links that Malphus has with Saraia.
Sweet.
Something to keep in mind with readiness tracks and stuff like that is that readiness will decrease by half at the end of every mission.
Okay.
Mm.
I think it stays locked into the tier once you get a full bar or something like that. I gotta
Oh, okay.
but maybe not because it's only 6 per bar to fill up, so it's not too bad. All right. So let's do a couple of things going on because the Last Bastion does things here as well.
Oh, if I can throw a little flavor in after the comment with Malphus like sees, hears, and just like eating and kind of looks over and just like there's this long look and then a little head dip nod of thanks. After the fact, Malphus isn't exactly super pleased with himself for bullying this guy, but hey, if other people found it good, and I was like, okay, well, I'll take that. And especially among the pilots, because it's literally just the 4 of us as pilots, right?
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like he's
It's
not
a
about
real
to burn
intimate
that.
group.
Yeah. He's not about to throw any kind of potential connection. He does not want to piss off somebody, even as nice as her, to who may potentially, be at his back and stuff like that.
Cool. So the Last Bastion starts with a full track. It is all fine and dandy. They're doing great.
In my head, we just cut to like the mid-season, and it's like sparks are flying and there's smoke pouring out of the engines.
We'll get there in a second.
I hope one of the engines does smoke, has a human affectation.
Shit. So the Last Bastion gets a number of actions based on its tier. Currently tier 3, so it gets 3 actions, and it rolls dice equal to 3. So it'll start off doing really great, and then as it takes damage, things get worse.
Does it reset when it returns back to home?
This is Last Bastion, meaning Neolithia, not Argo.
Oh, right. Okay.
This is like the whole like home front war effort.
Okay, right. Last Bastion versus flagship.
Yeah, so somebody roll me 3 dice.
We all want to roll 1.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well,
Do a fortune roll. Is that right? Is that how you
Just
roll?
1d6.
3d6.
Oh, I was saying we each roll 1 because I'm a dummy.
No, there are 3 actions. You can each roll one of them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. There.
That's a double 6er.
Usually good.
No, incredible.
Yeah.
For this one especially. So that is to progress the training ground.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm glad I rolled that one.
So that's 5 segments.
Ooh, snap.
Somebody sneeze on it and just finish it.
So we go from 2 to 5 to 7. I'm unclear whether it's supposed to. It prioritizes the actions as follows. So I guess if it can still do 1, it does that. So we do another one of those.
Cool.
The roll does not matter here.
All right, rolling.
So we complete the training ground project. Cool. So for future downtime, we can mark this on our reference map. We have the training facility. For future downtime, you can spend an action to get 2 XP into Sun.
Yes. Got to do it.
Which maxing out those 6 segments will let you get a new action dice.
Malphus, all about some sun.
Yep. So then our next one is going to be it would make preparations if the Leviathan track exceeds readiness. That is not currently the case. It would try to repair itself. If it was damaged, it is not. And so the last thing is complacency. The organization gets it its own way. And we're going to roll as for make preparations, but apply the result to the adversary track.
Ooh.
Craig, give me a 3 dice fortune roll. Or 3d6, whatever you want to do. You love to see it.
Craig.
You love to
So
see
good.
you love to see the double six.
Craig.
Oh, that's so good.
So that's
Same
5
team,
segments
Craig.
on the Leviathan track.
That's real good.
It's not real good.
That's great.
It's
It's
real
good
good for the
drama.
Leviathan.
Yeah.
It's great for me.
Well, let's
Um,
be honest.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So y'all are have been in orbit around Earth for a bit. There is a regularity with which the attacks and the probes and everything come from the Leviathans, from the gods. And so you tend to predict when the Argo needs to leave and be ready at a moment's notice. And you all know, like, it is, down to a number of days.
We're due.
and, Yeah, you're due, essentially. Surely enough, deep in the middle of night, you are awoken by klaxons blaring and
Yes.
battle stations ready. All pilots
Yes.
report to Hangar 1, imminent Leviathan incursion, and like popping up on your like data slate on your wrist for your pilot suit is like all sorts of telemetry and everything for where this thing's happening, and there is something is dipping in and out of the asteroid belt.
Oh no.
I love that.
And you make your way, and the flagship is speeding its way out further into the solar system to get you closer. The engines and the flagship can go very quickly, not light speed, but very quickly. I would say it's a number of hours to get to Jupiter, and that's
It's
about
warp.
as far as you ever go out, right?
Warp speed.
Yeah. By the way, I looked it up. It takes about 45 minutes for light to get to Jupiter. So a span of like 4 to 5 hours to get out there felt like a reasonable, like fast sci-fi speed, but
Yep.
not like shit. This was fucking
Yeah.
real fast. Not to the point of like, causing weird time dilation and stuff like that. I mean, anything does, but yeah. We're not getting into that because we got way weirder shit happening.
Yep.
We got emotions to go
so
over.
I need to pull up the rules to remember how engagement roll works. So we will get to what is actually happening here, but we're going to make an engagement roll to see how it goes, and then y'all are also going to tell me what max you're in, what engines you're in. Thing. I will say the like Leviathan data that they're pulling scraps of info about as they try and figure out which one is out there. It has been long enough that you have seen recurrent monsters. They have shown up again. And so sometimes even as what?
I was going to say, if I remember correctly, we also determined we had never killed one before.
Yep.
We
Yeah,
can send them
humanity has
packing,
never
but never actually slain.
Drive them off for pretty much. There have been like partial kills and like captures of like a leg or a tentacle or something like that to analyze some things and learn some stuff, but never like a live capture or even a kill. So and I will say that Janice, as you're reading everything on your wrist readout,
Yes.
your stomach just drops. because you recognize some of this data,
Oh no.
and this you have a flashback to another life, another battle, of seeing a friend destroyed, crunched in one of the three mouths of the dread beast Cerberus.
Oh god. Janice is apprehensive and is already stressed out.
Yep.
It's a rather rude awakening.
So engagement roll. Just like in Blades, we ask a bunch of questions, figure out how many dice to roll, and then see how it goes.
Sounds good.
There is always hope. The protagonists start with 1 dice.
Yay.
Is the mission particularly heroic or noble? I would say no. This is a fairly... If any of these things can be routine, it is routine, right?
Mhm.
Does the
An
mission...
expected incursion, going through the process as we know it.
Mhm.
It's not. We don't believe this to be a suicidal mission, so
Does the mission's goal or methods reflect the worst parts of the protagonists? I leave that up to Ralph here.
goal or methods. Oh, I would like to say that in the other timeline, Janice's co-pilot died because of hubris.
Mm.
Janice's hubris.
Sure.
They went out, just the two of them, 2 against 3. We
Mhm.
think that's a fair fight. Let's take down Cerberus. Nobody's been able to do it. And it was quickly a losing battle. However, Janice isn't really leaning into those traits here.
Okay.
So
no. I think
no, I would say no, but I wanted to provide a little flavor based on what
Okay.
happened before.
Yeah. Is the mission following through on details from the protagonist's investigation?
We haven't done any investigation on it, right?
No.
Well, the readiness is
Oh,
investigation.
okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I would say yes, because of Janice scoping out
Oh yeah,
Malphus's strategies and stuff like that.
makes
So we're
sense.
up to 2.
Yeah.
Are the protagonists acting rashly or on very little information? I would say no. You know what you're fighting.
Yep.
There will be more info like uploaded to you, or you'll be able to analyze and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Does the mission determine the fate of a friend currently? Are troubles from the protagonist's mundane lives getting in the way of this mission?
I don't think so.
No, not particularly.
Not yet.
Depends on how hard Malphus took news of friend being executed and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
Malphus seems to separate pretty well, though. Mission tier is fine, not above your current one. Yeah, so I think we're at a 2 dice.
Sounds good.
Whoever wants to roll that.
Sounds like Janice.
All right, let's do it. Wait, let's see. That's just a fortune roll, right?
Mhm.
Okay, great.
All right.
Not bad.
5.
Not bad.
It's going to put us in a risky position starting.
Yep.
I will say the Argo gets you a little bit out past Mars pretty quickly, and you're able to launch. And tell me in a second what we're in. But as the 3 of you spiral through space, powering up various systems, connecting emotionally with your engines.
Yes. Sync.
And yeah, exactly. You are tracking patterns through the asteroid belt as this thing seems to be working its way like against the flow, against the rotation, the revolution of the asteroid belt, and like causing you to lose it every now and then. But you do end up getting like within like scanning range and stuff like that. And you are trying to get in closer before engaging, and all of a sudden, from like you can just tell from hundreds of miles away that one of its heads has noticed you. And there is a howl that echoes through
space.
not sound, but
Right.
like
It's a subspace owl.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like an etheric resonance. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
These are multi-dimensional being things.
Oh,
That's
so
right.
They break all the
Yeah.
rules anyways.
I feel it in my body.
Space is very weird, and weirder when you have aliens and magical girls. So, don't try and
Don't bring the
actually
don't bring the
being a
sci-fi
monster.
in here. This is sci
Yeah,
fantasy.
exactly. You know me. You know how I like my sci-fi. I like it
Mhm.
soft and squishy. And so as we have finished one campaign, we begin another, fighting a dog.
Yes.
I knew I had to do it. And then
So
It's very
good.
Greg was
That's-
creating his engine this afternoon and momentarily called it Cerberus, and I was like, poker face.
Yep.
And then he changed it. I was like, oh, thank God.
That's delightful.
Yeah, as this psychic howl rings out, somebody tell me what you do.
Ooh.
Dude, Malphus is heading into the hangar and is beelining in a
Oh, you're already in an engine.
Yeah, what engine are you in?
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. In that case, yeah, he is in Medea, and like, I think it's like there's probably some like the official launch code, kind of stuff, and he's headed out. But between the fact that he went into and got into Medea, and the fact that all the other pilots can hear the tension in his voice. This man is about to make a beeline to just beat the shit out of something. And so yeah, he's heading straight in. And is basically anticipating everybody is going to be right behind him. Oh, also because it will be incredibly relevant to my playbook, I'm changing my rival. And putting down Janice.
I thought that was where.
Yep, because I was like, oh yeah, having
What
Lily.
What does Medea look like? They are powerful and feral. So.
Right. I'm thinking something very like animal. I was bouncing back and forth between something that's very like hound-like or maybe even more werewolf, so that it has some of that humanoid features, but it's like it doesn't have ranged weapons, or if it does, it's light. It's just it rips things apart.
Yeah,
it's that feral thing. Yeah,
a little bit beefier, a little bit more. All of the like synthetic muscles and everything are higher powered.
Yep.
Folks at home, if you're wondering how to picture these mechs, they're all going to be very organic, but not made of organic materials for the most part, right? Very
synth fiber muscles.
Not as gross as Evangelions with all the like, juiciness and actual, organic material in there, but that very like similar sort of style of fast and smooth and lithe versus like blocky Gundam kind of things. Cool. So Medea is just headfirst into battle.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel these like waves of psychic howl pressure pushing against you. What do you do?
Yeah, I think he's just straight into defy again, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I will say the closer and closer you get, the like more dense that psychic field that howl becomes, and it with 3 heads, it seems like it never stops.
Right, because even if
There's
one's
always
doing
one
something
around.
else, right? Yeah.
And so I think the defy here is not to like actually get in and deal damage, but I think is to
Get through that barrier.
To put up your own emotional wall and blast, into proximity.
Dig it. Risky position is where we're starting from then.
You're starting risky. Yep.
Okay, standard effect still.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Not transcendent. And no bonus die. Right, because the mechs don't actually. Ooh, actually.
If you're in line with one of their traits.
Right, that's what I was going to say. Actually.
If you are aligned with their virtue, you get a bonus die. If you're aligned with their impulse, you get XP.
And that action doesn't deplete transcendence. Gotcha. I would imagine this is in line with their virtue of powerful.
Yep.
And possibly even their impulse.
I don't think you've fully feral yet.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
But
That's
definitely powerful. This just raw, I am made for this. You cannot stop me sort of attitude. Definitely gets you a bonus die.
Ooh.
You can.
Ooh, sorry,
okay.
go ahead.
I was gonna say you can always push yourself to take 2 stress.
Right.
To get a bonus die. There's also the Devil's Bargain equivalent of this.
Tainted
game,
Promises.
which is a
Poison promise.
alliterative. Or people can assist.
Oh, right.
You know
Assisting
who wants to
takes 1
assist.
stress. And you also have the series ability that ties into that, which is when you receive an assist and your action succeeds, clear 1 stress. So if anyone wanted to help,
Yes.
Okay.
If I can, I don't know if Craig was about to jump in, but Janice definitely would, especially upon seeing Malphus surge out of the engine bay,
Mhm.
right? Janice is in Alcipe, which, if I am assuming the name is inspired by the daughter of Ares, right? I would like to imagine has some elements that look like a battle maiden, if not distinctly humanoid necessarily, but flowing structures that give the faint impression of an armored dress and perhaps like a shield bearing arm, right? Like if it has 2 distinct appendages, one of them looks more like a shield bearing defensive arm and another look like it's bearing a lance or a spear.
Mm-hmm.
So Janice jumped into the Alcipe with the expectation that she would need to do something that wasn't hubristic but protective. And so seeing Malphus surge into the fray in this powerful feral construct, she's trying to aid him by interposing herself between Cerberus and Malphus so that Malphus can get in a decisive strike.
Cool.
All right, awesome.
So that'll cost you 1 stress.
Yep, putting it down.
And then Drew, you can just roll an extra bonus die.
Okay.
No hesitation.
In the future, try and hold off rolling.
Yeah, I
things
forgot
before
how
we discuss
the
everything.
help works. Yeah. Hey, thanks for
6.
that.
Yes.
Love a 6.
Clear 1 stress from your track. Oh, you don't have any stress.
I do,
You?
because we all started with a little bit of stress.
That's right, we
You're
did.
always going to start. Well, you're 9 times out of 10 going to start with at least 1.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Unless you get that 6.
Yep. We're stressed out all the time.
Yep. Yeah. So you feel like you almost get slowed down for a second, and then Janice calling out over the comms, and I got your 6 and all this kind of stuff, and you get in close, and there is a barrier you pass, and you have fought here, and you are now within, and you can visually, you are up close to this thing that is the size of a small moon.
Gosh.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is this sort of damp, like just moist fur coating this oblong. I mean, to say it's still a dog shape is
Oh,
like
yeah.
you can understand looking at it why Cerberus was the name given, but it is not a dog in space. It is a 3-headed monster that has sent pilots to the underworld, right?
Yeah.
It is the guardian of the underworld in the sense that it has sent guardians to the underworld.
Mm,
Um,
that's good.
and there is you are here and you are ready to fight, but there is a palpable, overwhelming sense of dread this close to this thing, and it is from you, and it is from the engine.
Oh, cool. Like a beast with its hackles raised,
Yeah.
snarling and
Mhm.
refusing to back down, but knowing that, oh God, I'm a dog up against a bear. I better fight ferociously, otherwwise this is gonna go poorly.
Could be a badger.
That's right. That's true. You're right.
And I think Janice is coming in, like, kind of following in this, like, wake. And I think
Yes.
you can, in your engines, you can see a lot of these emotional and psychic resonances manifested in the sort of, science and technology and emotional state that you're in. And so you see that this, like, punctured side in the attack pattern. And what do you do to follow up?
All right. Let's see. You rolled. Yeah, cool, great. So, upon Malphus's risky action, Janice is leaning on what the inclination she built, which is she can't be hasty, right? Because hastiness, her inclination to be open, warm, and impulsive led to Malphus dying. That's what she thinks. It isn't what happened, right? But that's the responsibility she believes she bears. So that's why in this timeline she's leaning towards stars and let's be careful. And that's also why Alcipe is the one that she chose. Because Alcipe has the bravery that she yearns for from Diana, and is also inclined to be very careful in where they are interposed. So traveling in the wake and feeling that dread, she knows that the first mistake that a warrior can make is to be preoccupied with the feeling you're having of dread. And so she rides it and knows that fear keeps you aware of danger. And so as Malphus jumps into position to attack Cerberus, she moves off, positioning the shield to defend him, and then tries to stab against the side, assuming like, hey, maybe appendages and stuff is floating around, right?
Excellent.
Cool.
What kind of dice are you thinking?
I'm thinking that's stars roll, maybe analyze.
Analyze seems good. That, like, patience and trying to find a weak spot seems good.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. This is going to be desperate.
All right, awesome. Sounds good to me.
Because getting in close and actually engaging with these things when you are not transcended, is
a mistake.
Always going to be, you're going to be in a desperate position at best. You are outgunned, outmatched, outclassed until you become your true self and really push the engines to the limits of what they can do.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, she told herself that she had to do whatever she can to save Malphus, but she couldn't do it in the way she's most inclined, which is throwing caution to the wind and just jumping into the fray. So in this case, she's relying on Alcipe's inclination to be calculating, to do a brave thing.
Cool. Do you want to push yourself or hear a poison promise or anything like that?
I definitely want to hear poison promise. So first question is, does my action align with the brave virtue, you think?
It
doesn't have to. I'm just asking to go through the process.
I think so. Right.
Okay.
There's nothing particularly brave and ostentatious in that way right now, right? You are merely doing a warrior's work.
Cool. Okay. Right. Sounds good. Yep.
What is Alcipe's?
Brave and calculating.
Calculating.
Calculating is good. Calculating is definitely an impulse, so that's going to be an XP for sure.
All right. Cool. And I mark it in the general track?
You can put wherever you want.
Oh, really? Okay. I'll put it in stars. Sweet. Then I would like to hear poison promise.
Okay. Yeah, I think the time it takes to line up a shot, to analyze where to go best and everything, gives this thing time to swing around, and be more ready to fight. I think that's kind of the gist of it, is that you taking time gives it time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Okay.
I accept.
So you're likely to be in a worse position unless this goes well, right?
Sounds good to me. Yep, totally. I'm
But
with
I'll
it.
give you dice. And that's an or. You can't push yourself and poison promise.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
Analyze. Desperate, you said.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? Sorry.
Desperate and lesser effect.
Limited effect.
Yep.
Transcendent. No. Bonus dice 1, right?
Okay.
Cool. 4.
Cool.
Mark XP.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 'cause
Anytime
limited.
desperate.
And I'm desperate. Okay, gotcha.
It gives you an XP in stars.
Great.
Yeah, from a desperate, I think that poison promise, I think, comes to fruition, is that you analyze and you're like, I really wish that my analysis had come up with any other sort of plan of action, as it, like, the targeting computer and your emotional resonance with, like, the tip of the spear has this thing locked on, like, one of the throats, and it's
Yes.
the middle one.
Yeah. Jeez, not a good situation.
Yeah.
It's not the flank, but right in the throat.
Yep. Let's. Where is the? Yeah. So, I think what happens is you come in here and you get this wonderful spear point. We see you take off from the camera kind of thing, and you spiral. You're going fast as hell. We got kind of like contrail kind of things happening.
Yes.
And that spear buries into, like, electric blue blood, just like dripping out and freezing into space and covering all over your spear and your that arm of your engine. And as before you can even, like, revel in that strike, you are racked with feedback pain.
Oh god.
As one of the other heads chomps down on your leg.
Oh no.
It's okay. It's just the engines. Like, your leg is fine.
Yeah. I don't feel that.
You convinced your brain of that.
Yeah.
Because of the way that you're tied in emotionally and psychically with this thing. And so your spear's, like, buried in neck of the middle one, and the right one is pulling, and you can feel your whole engine yourself just being, like, stretched as you're hanging on to not lose your spear.
Oh jeez.
So this is going to be a level 2 harm.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Dang.
You can resist it.
Yep.
So this would be a sun consequence.
Okay.
Because it is physical.
Yep.
Violence and fear.
Okay.
So you'd roll sun and take 6 minus your result of stress.
Okay. Gotcha. Let's see. I got 3. And you get 4 in order to not take a consequence.
This is also when I can point out that people can jump in and protect and take the consequences for
that's
other
right.
entities if they wished.
Can I? Speaking of which, I have a nice way to use a link potentially, considering what's happening.
Okay.
If there's, like, provided that you can spend a link while you're taking a consequence.
You can spend a link whenever you want.
Okay, great. Then I would suggest that Janice will spend a link, one of the links that she has on Malphus, and Malphus comes in, taking the opportunity, not necessarily to save Janice, but as the Cerberus head is coming down to bite on the leg, the Cerberus head is now in a vulnerable position, and the feral engine is going to try and strike the neck.
Heck yeah.
Or something, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But
No,
just,
I'm good.
Cool.
Yeah, that nothing that also is reasonable just
Cool.
within fiction. That doesn't require a link, but you can spend a link to get 2 stress off. If
Okay. Yeah.
if that is the manifestation of clearing some stress, because at least that third head isn't also going to chomp down on you right now.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I think that is worth a 2 stress clear.
Sweet. Awesome. I'll get rid of 1. I'll clear
And
2
then
stress
you're-
and then I'll roll.
Barely likely to not.
Yeah.
Immediately eclipse.
Great.
So-
yeah, do roll that sun.
Sweet. Rolling it. No bonus dice. Roll 1 sun. 5. All right.
You take 1 stress.
Sweet. Cool. That was a great result.
Level 2 harm is bumped down to a level 1.
Awesome. Cool.
And we can call that in the vein of Chronicles of Darkness, the origins of this channel, we'll call that leg rack.
Yeah.
And we'll get to Saraia, and then we'll take a quick little break here.
Mhm.
Sweet.
Saraia, you see Janice and Alcippe being stretched and chomped into.
I want to lean into Diana's imperiousness and to control the battle.
Yes.
Seeing that Malphus has got 1 head occupied,
Mhm.
wants to try and
Janice has the other 2 occupied.
Right, but let me go around. So Malphus has got the right head occupied. The center and left heads are chomping away. So, but if we distract the left head and maybe have it try and go in separate directions. So that's what I'm going for. So being in Diana, I'm guessing this is going to be a ranged specialty sort of engine.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, as far as the
So-
flavor of weapons,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything, obviously they're not tied in. You don't have
Yeah.
So
Yep, just painting flavor.
yeah, I
so-
definitely imagine this thing as fucking archering missiles through space.
Mm-hmm.
Hell
So
yeah.
to try and divide the attention of the heads, swoop off to the side and plunk fire at the head to try and draw its attention away from
Cool.
the stuff in front of it.
Um,
Not sure how independent those heads operate, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, I could see this as conceal,
Mm.
Mhm.
as flow.
Yeah,
2 is probably the right pick.
let's
As far
try
as
flow.
actions go.
Yeah, flow feels
flow?
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you're trying to get in and dance around it and stuff like that. Flow is,
Mhm.
I think, where I would lean to this game.
And- I am going to push myself.
Okay.
That's 2 stress or 1?
Is 2 stress to push yourself.
Okay.
That'll give you a die.
Mm-hmm. We're risky or desperate?
You're desperate.
When we are
Um,
fighting the Leviathans directly without being transcendent, it's always desperate.
At best, it is desperate.
Mhm.
At worst, if it was a higher class of Leviathan,
Yeah.
you'd be fuck.
I love losing odds. It's my favorite kind of game
Alright,
to play, though, to be honest.
Can I throw a link with Diana into this?
Absolutely.
So they'll give me an extra die?
It'll give you 2 die
2 die, so I have
Because of
3
our-
going into this.
because of our
Series thing.
Right,
Mhm.
yes. Okay.
Sync ratio.
Uh,
Is in this case, effectively, she is helping you, or Diane is right. Okay.
Yep. All right. 4-2-1. So you do get XP in stars.
Okay.
Because you rolled a desperate. And yeah, you come up a little bit short. So what does this look like? I think this is you just full on zooming, fully spiraling around this. And because it is flow, I think it's gonna be a consequence of your own action, not necessarily one
Yeah.
the thing swatting you or anything like that. But yeah, I
so
think you
collide with an asteroid or something?
Yeah, actually, that's what I was gonna say. Is
That's
you
cool.
dodge a swipe of. You've lost track of how many paws this thing has. Change number every time.
Or maybe it has a
Um,
ranged attack that we didn't know about. So it had blasts out etheric beams or something.
I mean, yeah, I think just the failure of the flow, the mixed
Yeah, yeah.
success is you're swooping around and dodging, and you go and you dodge under again, lost track of what number paw. Was it 7? Was it 3? Not sure. And then just not to make it comedic, but straight up just Wile E. Coyote straight into a fucking asteroid. And it can be backwards. You can be
Mhm.
slammed into it and watching the battlefield, right? And so I think that's going to be. I think the consequence here is going to be a hit to the engine itself,
Ooh.
losing 1 strength.
And strength is effectively HP for them, right? It doesn't.
Essentially HP for the mech, for the engines. They start with 3. You can do a healing action for them in downtime to help them recover those. You can always resist consequences, remember. So if you want to take that stress, that damage into your own self, you could resist that consequence and let it keep the strength.
I'm getting a little low, so I think I'll let the
Okay, let it stand for now.
engine
That's
take
fine.
it.
These things are meant to take a beating, and
Right.
a beating they should take. And yeah, I think at this time the Cerberus is fully just turning in air, and it's not hopping between asteroids. It's moving, and it's almost like walking through space. I think a recurring thing is that these things are we would describe them as eldritch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That they are beyond understanding and sometimes just hurt to look at.
Mhm.
Right? They are definitely the more and more you get to know, the more fights you take part in, the more it seems like these are not just aliens; they are aliens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Extra dimensional bullshit.
Extra-dimensional, yeah.
They make sense where they're from, but here it's
Right.
fundamentally
Exactly.
incompatible. So
So we're gonna go and just refill our water bottles and take a quick little break.
yes, so good, so good.
There will be timestamps, I'm told.
Yep.
If you're YouTube, if you're watching this, just go to the timestamp when we come back. You won't have to sit through indeterminate amount of silence.
It won't be silence. There is
watching live.
music.
Yeah, there's music and stuff. And
We
folks
can serenade you.
will be back in just a few.
We're all going to be lounge singers eventually.
Nah. And we're out. And I don't need to do anything. I just walk away.
So far, so
Cool.
good. Having fun.
This is very
This
good.
is so
This is very
good. Yes, so good.
Yep.
Oh, so good.
We have that hang on, how does this game go again? Slowness,
Yeah.
but we're good, and I'm
We're on
here
track
for the
for
visuals.
the whole mission rule.
This is great.
Really on
good.
time. And be able
Nice.
to do downtime stuff, or not downtime stuff, but Fallout stuff too.
Oh yeah, this is
Alright.
going to
I'm
be
not
so
gonna
good.
make no fight forever on these things.
Dude, it's
At least,
Yeah, because I mean it's all
My
vignette.
attention
One flow roll can be multiple attacks across a series of
yeah,
minutes.
exactly.
And
That
stuff.
was that was multiple minutes of skirting around and launching missile
Right.
arrows and stuff like that.
Cool.
That's great.
I just have to make sure I keep that amount of flow and stuff
Right.
described.
Thank you.
So people are
Yeah.
just okay, it's one sword attack.
Yeah, totally.
Magic missile.
Yep. No, Legends of Greyhawk. See you in a bit.
So apparently we're still streaming.
Hmm?
Apparently we're still streaming.
What do you mean?
People are watching empty chairs right now.
Oh, cool. That's new. Hi, everyone. I'm gonna watch.
Adrian, apparently we're still streaming. People looking at empty chairs.
trees caress the sky. Seagulls sing the song of life, crashing on the shore. The waves fade into sea foam. This is where I call home. As long as I remember, we've lived in Elysian peace. Time ebbs and flows like the
We're back. We return from our break and dive back into the battle against Cerberus amongst the asteroid belt. We have had a fierce strike and reprisal against
Yes.
Janice in Alcipi. Malphus in Medea is poised to strike, and Saraia in the engine of Diana has sort of crashed into and mostly through one of the asteroids and a gigantic, wonderful, set piece sort of shot. As we see, off in the distance, the battle continue, and Cerberus sort of. And again, we're in space, so it's weird, but it comes up to its like full height, and the necks are like extending and wrapping around and poised to sort of surround the two of you, Ralph and Drew.
Yes.
Well,
What is Malphus about to do?
if Malphus is, positioned, assisted, and set up in position, Malphus stops being Malphus. Malphus
Wonderful.
becomes Horus.
Yes.
We have our first transcendence. This is the sort of mechanic that replicates the magical girl transformation. So I ask this of you, Horus. Who are you truly in your moments of transcendence? And how does this reflect emotionally and actually like physically manifest in the engines itself as they kick into a higher drive with you?
For Malphus, this is the moment when he stops being a little punk bitch, and actually steps up to a leadership thing, right? Instead of working alongside people, and I mean, we haven't used the ability, but his playbook ability is pathetic, and calling somebody pathetic, right? When he's transcendent, technically everybody is his rival, which means he can tell them all they're pathetic. Functionally, that actually means that Malphus, Horus, can come to anybody's rescue anytime they're about to suffer fatal harm or fall into eclipse. This is Malphus going from being a grumpy punk bitch who just wants to fight people to follow me. And especially with Medea, this is I'm imagining like not a Hulk thing where she gets bigger, but I think this is probably like, the engine shifts, comes more forward, the claws, instead of like long fingered hands, get the like overclaw mitt things, flaming or glowing hot blade kind of stuff.
If you've seen Ava, when Unit 2 goes berserk, or Unit 1 does it as well, but like their mouth actually like there is what looks like a mouth just for like design, and then the first time they like go feral and it like actually opens and there's like fucking actual teeth and like a throat and a tongue in there, and you're like, what the fuck is that? I imagine this is not quite as intense as that, but like yeah, this like almost like wolf-esque head, right? Like there is an extremely like a feral glint
Mhm.
as this thing shifts through, and like color transcendence and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
everything happening.
And within the cockpit, it's obviously just a trick of the light and stuff like that, but the really bland prison garb that he basically is always in, it looks a little more white. Some of the yellow and different stuff like that kind of stands out as more of a gold. And is definitely this, he's Horus, right? It's this royal, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't think you're in prison garb.
right.
Like, you're not restricted to that because, like, due to the culture and everything, like, you are, by every technicality of having been bonded with an engine,
Mhm.
you are given this supreme place of.
See, I was thinking that is
sacrifice.
what's allowed in New Elysium, where he's put on display. But no, I'm cool with that.
Snippets of these fights and reports are given back to the people at home
Gotcha.
as a way of like honoring the sacrifice, and there's like a celebrity culture of who
Okay.
the current pilots are and stuff like that.
There's
Okay.
trading cards with your face on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They never show the ankle bracelet, of course, but they're there.
Strength and sacrifice are the things that society
That's right.
values to a toxic, problematic degree, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, like this, like the old heads are like, oh, I remember,
Pilot so and so.
Xanthippe back in 54, like they went through like 17 missions, and like no one's ever gonna do that again, and like
Gotcha.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I when I imagine the like suits y'all are in, it's like an Evangelion plug suit, but in the like form of a toga, right?
Mhm.
Like it is aesthetic as fuck,
Right.
for
Okay.
sure. And so that going up to the next level of like luxury and like depiction of a god, but there's a stylistic change there because it's not Greek that you're embodying.
No.
Here, so.
Yeah. And that's the other thing for him is like, no. I'm here. I'm with you all, but I'm not part of your, we'll use the term paradigm, right? And going more of the Egyptian vibe. And that starts I'm trying to remember how Transcendence works. It's 4 actions, effectively.
Your track is 4. So
Okay.
yeah, 4 actions that you do.
Okay. And I think this is going to be a straight up defy to actually
just physically get in its face. Absolutely embodying the impulse of your engine, which means that this does not deplete your transcendence track.
And I mark an XP, right?
And you mark an XP. Yeah.
Okay. And then it also means the position is not desperate, so it would be controlled, or is it still desperate?
I think right now you're still in a desperate position just based on the fiction, but you definitely could get to a risky or controlled position based on how things go, right?
Gotcha. And then it would be a standard instead of limited. Is that the definite change?
Yeah, desperate standard.
Okay. Cool. Transcendent, yes. So I may have to go mark it back up, but I want to test how this thing works. And then bonus dice. I feel like this is in the engine being powerful.
Yep. I'll give you one for powerful. Get you up to 2 dice, and then if anyone wants to help, or if you want to push yourself.
That's true. Yeah, I will see if anybody else wants to jump in here.
Oh, we're double teaming this. I'm
That's what
about
I
to go
thought.
transcend it myself. So yeah.
Cool.
Yep, I'm taking it.
You can
Good.
spend the stress to give
Yep.
them a bonus die.
Which becomes 2
Or
bonus
you
die.
can spend a link to
Oh, right.
2 bonus die if you want to do that instead.
That's right.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I will do that instead. I will, instead of taking the stress, because I was planning on spending a link anyway to reduce some stress, because I'm probably going to get hurt. So I will also spend a link to
Cool. So that
give
gives
you
me.
a die, which gives you 2 dice.
I'm up to 3 bonus dice on this.
Mhm.
All right.
Get you to 4 dice, which is generally the most you can roll.
Mhm.
Sometimes there might be more than
All right, cool.
Yes.
Fabulous. Love it.
622 or 6233. So there you go. So XP and Sun. And a 6 here. You just fully like launch, I think, into the mouth of one of these heads.
Yeah, 'cause
and
I
just,
mean-
like tear it apart from the inside.
Bypass the armor on the outside. Just carve it up from the inside. Craig taught me that one.
That's right.
And I think we see this from like Janice's perspective, right? Because I think the transcendence is great and you are your true self, but in this moment, that true self is
Mad.
feral.
Yeah.
Right?
gosh. Ooh.
And you see Horus manifest, and I think over the like calm video emotional link and everything, there's this brief moment of like this full like falcon headed like headdress that manifests for a second, and then they
Cool.
just dive in, and for a second it looks like they just completely gotten eaten.
Yes.
And there's that panic for you, and then these claws just like fully rip a whole head like off.
And that's when we realize we're
Fantastic.
fighting Hydra, not Cerberus.
That's right.
And this thing screams with its other 2 heads, and it flails and pushes you all back away a bit, in its flailing as you have to dodge these massive swings of heads and claws and the body itself. And I think it you could see the like almost like the 2 heads are like yelling at each other for a second. And there's an opportunity.
Excellent. Well, you know who is in charge of opportunities and transitions. Janus. So Janice assumes her true self.
Janice is the Janice? Oh my god.
Yes.
Whoever thought this.
What a plot twist.
Everyone is surprised.
We get our second magical girl transformation of the series.
Fantastic. Yes. So the plates of Electrobaster in Azure and Ebony rather quickly encase her body, turning her into what seems like an inert statue. And while she's embodying this transformation, when she moves, it seems as though time stops between the movements that you see. You don't see the intervening time or whatever she does between it. When her facial features change, there is no transition that you're able to observe. It just switches expression or the position of her arms and stuff like that.
Very cool. I think as far as those manifestations and manifest in the engine,
Yes.
suddenly you are just vast.
All right. Yes.
Even the other pilots here trying to watch what you're doing and keep track of where you're in positioning and stuff like that are like, I thought she was over there. And then yeah.
Wonderful.
What do you do with this newfound speed and transcendence?
So
How does it feel to do this?
it feels like she doesn't have to hide. It now feels like no one's going to know that I was from another timeline and I have this. She thinks she's able to do this because she has some foresight from being elsewhere.
Mhm.
And it's actually just because she isn't repressing her capacity through guilt. And so embracing this leads to her then actually being able to do correctly what she wanted to do before, which is perceive the careful placement of her spear to do the most damage without putting her in danger and also protect Malphus at the same time.
Cool.
So as he emerges in the heads, and if it's okay with you, I'll just provide a little other narrative suggestion. As he emerges, exploding, the claws ripping that head to shreds, and the 2 other heads are yelling at each other. Suddenly, Janus in Alcipe appears directly behind one, and the spear goes through the neck and through the mouth and out through the other.
Well, we're gonna roll to find out if that happens.
Yeah, so fair enough. But that's basically what Giannis is trying to do. Cool.
I dig it.
All right, awesome.
You got 1 transcendent dot.
Cool.
You want to push yourself?
Let's see. We got my transcendent dot for analyze. Yep. I could push. Ooh, would this line up with calculating for the engine? Doesn't have to.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
So that'll not complete your transcendence.
Excellent.
Mark XP.
Cool. Then let's see. Depending on this result, I am gonna spin one more link to reduce 2 stress, just in case. And then, oh, you know what? Yeah, I could turn a link into pushing. Yeah, and then I will push, so I'll be at a net 0.
Okay.
Which means I have 3 dice, right? Or two bonus, I think.
2 bonus.
2 bonus. Fantastic. Great. Which puts me at 4. Excellent. And we're at desperate with standard effect. Transcendent, yes. And 2 bonus dice. Cool. Let's do it. Come on now. Come on now. All right. That's not
Very
bad.
nice.
Five, 3, 6, 1. Cool. Yeah, we have another just sort of like spear strike. Ralph, I know that you love doing this. So, in the spirit of God and anime being on your side, what is the name of the attack that you yell out when you do this? In the lost archive of Thirsty Sword Lesbian, this is where a big booty hit blast attack came in, I think. So.
Oh, wow. The things I missed.
I think it was Resplendent Golden Hammer Twerk Slam.
There you go.
I think that's what it was.
That does sound more like what you said, yes.
Yes. So, what would this be? I didn't plan for this one. Let's see. This would be. You know what? How about this? The strike happens, then you have a memory of Giannis having uttered it because it happens outside of time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And you then remember that Giannis uttered a wordless sound, which of course went across space, transcending into your memory. This is what would it be? Oh, wait, hold on. Let me see that word. One word. Oh, yeah. Okay, so you hear resounding in your memory, Pike of Providence.
Sick. Yeah, and I think there's a spray of blood and just this very Gurren Lagann like spiral attack through like the back of one of the heads and out. This fight is going great. You're doing great. And I think you like come up to a stop with that in the background, like spin the spear and like clank it against your shoulder as you say it.
Yes.
And yeah, this thing is hurting and like beginning to try and get away. Saraia, what do you do?
Saraia will transcend as well.
Yes, bring it on.
It'd be that time of the episode.
Yep.
We're gonna
And-
save so much budget by reusing this footage every time.
I think what part happens is that there's sort of an etheric chariot sort of materializes around Diana, and over comms, or maybe it's psychically, you hear Horace's name called out as Diana starts swooping in right towards Horace. I'm asking you for an assist in this.
Yep.
Ooh,
Absolutely. Because
So
I was about to say Horace is coming over and saying finish it, but yeah, no, this works even better.
So as she swoops by, they clasp arms, and then there's a flash, and then there isn't one engine, or there aren't two engines there anymore.
Yeah. Ooh.
Freaking
There's
harmony
one-
bullshit.
Much larger engine.
Yes.
And Skaha is these things have heads, but they're not actually heads.
Right.
If we're going to finish this thing, we have to do it deep in the center, in the core, where a heart would be. So now that you've been incorporated
Leviathans this way too. Oh, sick.
So, given that we are now part of one being, you and me and someone else, and our engines are all sort of a combined being, we're going to thrust into the body of this creature, going for the center of its power.
The Holdo maneuver. Yes.
So, as my transcendence ability is as one. When you lead a group action or receive an assist while transcended, you briefly incorporate the others into your harmony. You may roll the highest action rating among all participants instead of your own action rating. So I'm going to rely on your defy, since I have none.
Mm.
I think I'm leaning into...
Is this so you want to do a group action
Yeah.
of like everyone finishing this thing off together?
Well, specifically for Malphus, I didn't know I could do more than one.
Mhm. Yeah, group actions are literally a group action.
Everyone getting involved. Yep. That's
Oh.
perfectly
Yeah.
fine. That's a great way to.
Yeah, and the other thing is, because the assist is the other thing I can do, especially because I have the links, so I can spend that to give you the +2.
Okay.
So, and both work based off what I was hearing about your transcendent ability. Is it's when you get an assist or do a group action.
Yeah.
I'll leave it up to
So,
you.
yeah. I was just thinking to grab Horace because
Hmm.
Horace was close already. So just grab an assist then.
Okay.
But I can use your defy.
Okay.
to make
So
that roll.
a group action is going to be one person leading it. In this case, it's you doing it. So it's
Mhm.
going to be Skaha leading. And then the best result among the group is the result of the roll. And then you take stress for anyone that fails.
All right. And I think I'm leaning into Brave and Imperious for Diana. Would you go for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, especially in episode 1. Fuck it, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Let's go.
So I'm not sure how to do this. Maybe Drew should do the roll for the defy because I don't have any dots on defy.
No, it's a group action. So if you're doing a group action, we all roll.
Oh, we all okay.
Oh, I forgot about my transcendent ability. Ah, dang it.
Welcome to episode 1, everybody.
Ah, it's so cool.
All right. So I'm rolling a defy. This is a desperate.
Yeah.
Effect is standard.
Mhm.
Effect is standard.
I am transcended.
You are.
Bonus dice.
You get a bonus die from the engine, and
Mhm.
you're copying Malphus's Horace's defy, so just give yourself another bonus die there.
Mhm.
Because you have 0 defy base, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But I can effectively use his defy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's what the bonus die is. Yep.
All right. And then a push to make it 3.
Push to make it 3. Yep. Certainly.
Okay.
5 from you, and then Drew, if you'll roll for Horus.
Right. I would not need, or I would not gain any bonus dice, I don't think.
Why not?
Not relevant ones, no.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Because I'm going with the action.
But there's a link to me, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah, and see, that would be the assist, and so that's the part I was unsure about.
Okay, I got it.
Let's see here. That can't be right. Oh yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Die.
because powerful is not counting in this case. That's where I was like, wait, I should have 2, but no. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, Saraia takes, or Skaha takes 1 stress.
Which I will spend one of.
Go
ahead.
Picking up the slack. Don't worry about spending like a moment.
Okay.
We're about to wrap this thing up. Yeah. So you have 1 failure in the group action, so you take 1 stress.
Okay.
And the whole group position is a 5. So yeah, you sort of bundle in, and this is some wild shit that has happened, and like you can hear over the comms from the flagship of like, we're getting some strange readings out there. What are you?
What's going on?
Is everyone okay? We're only seeing 2 signatures. What happened to Horus? And they're like, or what happened to not Horus? They would not.
No. Probably Medea.
I think they refer to the engines only because
right.
that's the, yeah.
That's the thing. Pilots come in and out. Engines.
Medea, what are you doing out there? Yeah.
Aren't your call sign when you're there?
And just to interrupt with a quick set the stage, the cocoon that we're kind of in is a cocoon that's built of love.
Ooh, cool.
For other people, for the human race, for my teammates, for the engines.
That's how you
Really
defy the loss of intimacy. I love it.
Yeah,
that's great.
That's great. Yeah, there's this like a little bit of feedback from Diana, but like she's going along with it and like impressed in a way, right? Like you've proven like, okay, this sentimentality is
has a
maybe
use,
worth it.
Yes.
And yeah, what is this 2-person 5-entity double mech finishing attack look like?
I think it's just a blast right through. And then once we're inside, it fragments again.
Split up.
So we blow through the heart and then explode out in different directions. So Horus goes one way, Diana goes the other.
Well, one of the things I was going to say, if you have this chariot thing, it's 2 people in a chariot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you be making a heart?
There is no.
Oh man.
Fusion dance.
Yes.
Malphus and Medea are neither into
Come
this.
Come on, no man.
Yeah, so you this chariot, this of golden pure love, breaking all sort of physics and known things, and there have been moments where each of you has pulled off something like this in the past, and it's like it just doesn't show up in the data in the reports of the engines. Like the engines are keeping secrets from the Argo, from the techs and stuff like this. Like what happens out here when you are transcended and connected with them is your own secret.
Ooh, cool.
It's just not discussed by like pilots or the engines. Yeah.
There have been in the past former pilots as part of staff, and even they will be like, I won't talk about what happened when I was a pilot.
Oh,
and most people just say, because it's traumatic as shit.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, don't push them. But like, as soon as you have one of these moments, I think you're like, oh, I see.
And I think for Saraia, there's almost like something sacred about these moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you blast through, separate inside of this beast, and carve your way out. The chariot sort of disappearing in a glint. And I think Saraia, Skaha, you come out holding a bit of it in your hand. having grabbed a snarl of entrail or a piece of an organ or a
Ooh.
and it's moving in your hand and it's weird and like just trying to figure out what this might have been. You just kind of clench down on it, and have a bit of a trophy, and there is a blast of feedback, just like raw, not even like that psychic howl from before, but just raw terror and anger, and you can feel that something has seen what you've just done.
Oh.
Sure.
They have felt, and again, these engines are like the core of them is fueled by this forbidden power source, this Prometheum, right?
Yeah.
And so that higher transcendence level, that higher output, has drawn something's attention. You know this deep in your heart, and there is just a shrinking or a twisting in space almost, and Leviathan, codenamed Cerberus, just kind of turns and is flat.
Oh.
And then is gone.
Oh.
And is that the normal exit for a Leviathan?
No. Normally you drive these things off, right? They will fly away and you will know not to pursue because pilots have been lost to hubristic pursuits out past the edge of the solar system and something else being led into a trap, essentially, right? And so you know not to pursue, but this is different. You all deeply feel that you did real damage to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I was about to say, do I need to roll perceive? But no, that works for me.
And all is quiet, and the transcendence, sort of that moment of trueness and of strength and power, dwindles down as the engines cut back down to a lower gear, and that connection distances itself a little bit.
I'm at 8 of 9 for my stress.
Hell yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Guess what? It clears at the end of the mission.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
And besides, if you
Yeah.
fall into Eclipse, that's why I have Relentless and Pathetic.
That would be a lot interesting. Yeah. I mean, the only stress point you really need is your last one.
Right.
Exactly.
Magic the Gathering, baby.
Even going into Eclipse, you've got 9 more as it goes back the other way.
Mhm.
Look, remember, stress is just a wallet you can pay
Yep,
from.
you don't
Okay.
become an NPC or a villain until you fill your stress bar back up the other way. So you're fine.
See, come on, it's fine.
Cool. So we I'll say for future missions, don't forget that we can do flashback things just like in Blades of the Dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
and
set up a teammate
stuff
action
like
is
that.
the one I
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
forgetting
Oh,
about.
that's right. Yeah.
This was just getting back into the flow of things of how the system works and
Tutorial mission.
especially with, yeah, exactly. Don't tell nobody. So then we need to do Fallout. I gotta remember how that works. I think it's very specific. We need one single die.
Fortune roll.
I can do it.
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so you all make it back to the Argo, back within around sort of a stationary point over near one of the moons of Mars, Phobos.
And I still have one of my trophy in my trophy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And you make it back into the hangar. You're going through your like unsynchronizing thing, and Saraia, as you disconnect from Diana, whatever is in that grip just sort of like it was like a bit of weird squiggly intestine kind of thing, and it just like flattens itself and just like covers up to the wrist.
Oh,
That's probably not good.
And there is emergency klaxons again. Everyone's like grabbing at what looks like fire extinguishers, but they're like chemical things to like
Ghostbuster
shut
packs,
down.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And they essentially like ice Medea while you're still in there.
Diana, yeah.
Or Diana, sorry. Yep. While you're still in there.
Oh my
and it
gosh.
is a number of very stressful, probably 10, 15 minutes while they're figuring out, is it doing anything else? What's happening?
Do I take a stress from feedback for that, or?
Nope.
Okay.
This is just Fallout. This is just
That's
flavor.
fine.
And they do eventually. They're unconcerned in the immediate sense of what's happening, and they get you out of the cockpit. You are bustled off to like psyche valves and stuff like that to make sure nothing did feedback, because you were like cut off from it when this happened, right? You know that, but you still have to go through the process, and what would normally be like a celebration is now tinted with this. And
just for flavor, Saraia knows she has to be really careful with these psyche valves.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So very regarded when she's in there.
Yep. And you just receive a note from FELTs later that evening. Pilot Saraia, in future missions, we will be what is it? Word has come from above that you are to not be the pilot of Diana.
I mean, for Saraia, that kind of makes sense. Like now that we're just finally making a report.
Yeah. And she's begrudgingly accepting that you are the right choice. Yeah, right. Fine.
Or an acceptable choice.
Well, that I was an acceptable choice.
Yeah.
There are no engines here that are really suited to Saraia.
Ah, that's right. You just made one yourself. Yeah.
Sure, I could have made one myself, but I still couldn't pilot it for.
No. I meant the merger.
Oh, yeah.
Of Medea and Diana.
And then I need a roll of our readiness tier, which is currently tier 1.
Okay.
To see how well the Last Bastion handles things while you all are gone on the mission. Just one die.
You got it. Fortune roll. Happy to do it. Poorly.
Great. It's a disaster.
Y'all remember we're on the same team, right?
No, you're not. The Bastion
humanity
reduces by 3, and the protagonist must answer for it.
All right.
This is the Bastion is left exposed, or internal strife and politics are left unchecked. So we reduce this by 3.
The latter makes sense.
And yeah, I think it's politics and strife for this one for sure. Yeah, I think it's like as you were getting back, you can tell that like things are weird. There's a lot of
Mm.
like whatever the
Yeah.
like news cycle is and stuff like this here. Like this is the last major human city, but it is a big one and it's a floating city in the Pacific.
Yeah.
And so there's still a lot of like potential of like big, political movements and shifts in the population and stuff like that. And you know that primarily, the folks that are in charge are the ones that make up the Areopagos. This
Mm.
term brought
Yeah.
from the big rock that's outside of the Pantheon, the
Yeah.
Parthenon, which is apparently like before Athens had a democracy. This is where like the proto democracy was just like a council of elders that met, and that's sort of the leadership of the last bastion of Neolesia. It seems there's like some sort of political infighting amongst a couple of these going on. And it takes a couple days for you to get into the swing of things and figure out what happened and why everything's so distracted when you should be coming home to like a fucking parade
Right.
Mhm.
and like
Yes.
the biggest victory you've had in decades.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, these things don't get killed very often.
You
Ever.
didn't kill it.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
they don't get
Let's be
defeated
clear.
very
You
often.
did not kill it.
Yeah.
Chris wants to bring that one back later.
No, I don't want you to think the wrong thing.
This is, of course, particularly emotional for Janice.
Yep.
No one died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, you are coming to understand that there's a sort of factional strife between Arsinoe, who is a like I would say it is possible you have seen some of these people. I doubt you have met them.
Right.
Right?
Their political leaders were pilots.
Exactly.
Right.
Right. They're a couple layers up the chain from you. So Arsinoe is one of the 4 on the council. They're an androgynous, like unaging Mediterranean person. Like they could
Ooh.
be 30, they could be 70. They're
Yeah.
somewhere between those, right? You have no idea. And you know that they are the former lead of engine development.
Oh,
From
that's a big
when-
deal.
Yeah, from when like there were enough resources and projects to be still finishing off some of the projects.
Oh,
Um,
were they involved with Nemesis or Icarus?
That is something you could research. You don't
Okay.
know it just by rumor or by
Okay.
what's the reputation.
Gotcha. Janice definitely
and-
would want to look at that.
Yeah, there's a sort of a factional tiff, riff, whatever you want to call it, between them and Xantippe, who is this ancient woman of African descent with like long gray, like fully gray and white braids, like down past her ass, like damn near dragging on the ground, right? A point of like of pride and of like just like absolute like, this is, I have put in the time, I have been here, I have survived long enough to grow these long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know that I specifically think actually someone here has met Xantippe, and it is Malphus. Now she is the sort of the religious leader. She's in charge of the oracles and the selection process and the drafting. And she would be essentially the one that was like allowed you to be spared.
Right. Cool. I
because
love
she's-
hate her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the rumors fly and the infighting is going on, and there's a lot of political backstabbing and some literal backstabbing as these two are sort of having proxy wars between the tech sector, the mechanics and everything like that, and this sort of oracle of like between the pilot selection and the engine thing, and blaming who like trying to posture around who's to blame on who's slacking, why there hasn't been, more pilots, more engines. Why can't, there could be missions to go recover some of the ones that are lost that we know where they are. If we had more pilots to put in them and stuff like this. And like everything comes down to there's a limited amount of resources, and humanity hasn't had to deal with that in a long time. And there is stress, and there is power, still power hungry motherfuckers always.
Yeah, definitely.
And that about wraps us up for the night.
Ooh, baby.
Do y'all want to do? We can do XP on screen for this time, and then probably do it off screen for the rest.
That's okay.
So XP, because I don't think we ever did XP on screen when we did Blades in the Dark. So I think it's a neat mechanic. Essentially, it is a number of questions that you ask yourself about what you have done in that. In that session. Where is it?
Reminder, we should be clearing our stress track, right? Because we ended the mission.
Stress track is clear at the end of the mission.
Great, yeah.
So
make sure
gaining XP.
Provided you are not an
Eclipse, yeah. But yeah, there's XP on our playbook, and then there's also the one in series creation for that's the Argo, effectively the flagship, gaining XP as well, right?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. I'm having trouble finding.
I got the one. Just a challenge of foresight.
Let's do Malphus.
Sure.
So for each of these that you answer in the affirmative, you get +1 XP, and if it did multiple times, then you get 2 XP.
Right.
You can read them off and talk about them.
Yep. Oh, that's right. I forgot there's playbook XP separate from stat XP. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So each time I make a desperate roll, add 1 XP for that action. We've already done those. Though I was going to ask, the one that I made as part of the group action, does that count? Okay. Cool. So that's. So then, question stuff. I addressed a challenge with individual action or aggression. Yes.
That's a 2. That's a 2 for sure.
Cool. And putting that into playbook. Expressed your beliefs, drives, role, or background. I feel like if nothing else, the fighting and the FELTs at least.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really expressed anything with the actual fight.
Info that Janice did, and letting us explore more about you.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so that's 2. Also putting that in playbook. Struggled with issues from your promises or obligations. Not really. I mean, there's the stress of getting the message, but didn't really struggle with the issues.
I mean, that is... I would say, in general, if you take 3 or more stress from that, like, it's a bit...
okay.
Right?
Okay.
Gotcha.
I'm on board with that. And
that sounds like a pretty fair thing to me.
That seems nice.
Embodied your eclipse or displayed the contents of your heart? Hell no.
A little bit.
Little bit, yeah.
The Feral Wild Child Transcendence, I think, is a good starting point for that. So it sounds like 6 XP.
Yep, 6 XP all into my playbook.
Right. All into playbook.
Yep.
More special abilities. Great.
Yeah, well, because the one I have is great for saving people's asses, but if nobody's asses need saving, it's not useful. So I need the second one. Cool.
Okay. Saraia.
Address a challenge with understanding or coordination. Final attack, and then actually establishing the bond with Diana.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely 2.
That's really nice.
Express your beliefs, drives, roles, or background. I think there'd be 1 in there for the various ways she's trying to manifest love in a world that's refusing to accept it. Struggle with issues with your promises or obligation. It was all kind of like off screen almost, but that's sort of a constant theme with her.
We also forgot to talk about promises and everything, but
I didn't embody the eclipse, but I did display the contents of my heart by inviting Horus into
Mhm.
the harmony.
yeah,
So I'll make that 5.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
And again, you can put that either into the Series X play or the playbook
Playbook.
XP, or you can go into a stat to
Okay.
work on another dot. Your choice.
Okay.
And Janice.
All right. So, address the challenge of foresight or revelation. I don't think so. She didn't really do any.
I mean,
Well, I mean,
You
maybe.
did at least with the
Sure.
selection or the way you started out. You know, your foresight of prepping, because I mean, you literally
Yeah.
did downtime action to prepare the.
Oh, fair enough.
Mhm.
Yeah,
At
you know
least
what?
that
Actually,
much.
okay, yeah. So in that regard, yes, I think
the
that
revelation of finding out about
Mhm.
Malphus.
Yeah.
And then the foresight of like your battle style and everything for sure counts.
Yeah, you're right. There are multiple ways in which Janice was approaching that. To one, understand Malphus better for fighting together, and then also having had the experience with Cerberus being dangerous and trying to be careful, trying to protect him, trying to adopt a different battle style. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I guess I didn't see that at first. Okay. So would that be multiple times then?
Yeah, that's 2 for the first one.
Okay, cool. I'll put 2 in stars, and then I'm probably gonna put the rest in playbook. I can then go up 1 and analyze. All right, you express your beliefs, drives, roller background. Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
Drive is to protect Malphus and also understand what's happening here in the
Mhm.
timeline, right? Like, although Janice feels this sense of guilt whenever Giannis comes forth, whenever Janice transcends, the guilt is gone, which suggests to Janice that perhaps there's something else that happened, or perhaps there's something in her psychology that she needs to engage. So I'd say 1 there. And then struggled with issues from your promises or obligation. Yeah. I think struggled with issues in the beginning. Fighting FELTs. How was that an issue? The promises, I forgot to never say goodbye. I won't let Malphus die with regret. No, I don't really see that being the case.
I mean, definitely get 1 for FELTs for sure.
Right, at least.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then embody your eclipse or display the contents of your heart. She hasn't yet displayed the contents of her heart. Eclipse is go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I would think so.
I
Yeah?
mean, you did protect. You went in to protect, even if it wasn't expressed. Similar to mine.
I see you. Okay, gotcha. I was thinking of yeah, you're right. Displaying the contents isn't necessarily expressing the contents verbally and communicating to everyone, considering we're all watching this play out, and the character's actions could indicate exactly what's happening. Okay, that makes sense. All right, yeah. I think I would take 1 there. So I think that's is that 5?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Great. Cool. Sweet. So I put 2 in stars, which put me up to 6 in stars. So then when I just lower it and take a dot and
Yep.
Okay, cool. That's right.
Alright.
Thank you.
2 dots and analyze.
Yep.
3 if you're transcended.
There we go.
Mhm.
Giannis is going to be planning things out more.
Ah, yes, the Blue Ranger move.
Yes, exactly. Time for group roles when transcendent.
Good stuff. Oh, dude, and the time. Wait, we need to do the Argo.
Outro and stuff. What?
The Argo gets XP.
We do.
Oh, what about harm?
Well,
Deal that during downtime, right?
you can take downtime to heal yourself, yes.
Great. Yeah,
Or
that's right. Cool.
someone else can take downtime to heal you.
That's right. Cool. Great.
You cannot heal yourself.
And just from past experience, Saraia will be all over that if you're willing to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
We successfully carried out a mission from the series list.
We did that multiple times.
Yes.
Not
Happened
really.
5 times.
I mean, there's 3 of us. And like that's
Look,
3
after
successful
Cerberus-
missions.
Come on,
That's
after
true.
Cerberus, we went down there and we kicked Hades in the nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, hang on.
No.
Don't prod the DM.
We whapped his guard dog on the nose with a rolled up newspaper.
Yep.
Yep.
Struggled with your place in the world and protect the last to protect the last bastion. Absolutely. That's a
Oh,
two for
yeah.
sure.
Jeez.
Revealed the tragic history of the Bastion, Leviathans, and engines. I think we see a little bit of that. Certainly
Yeah.
with the Leviathans,
Mhm.
with your flashback to another timeline.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then I think the
Malphus's message, if nothing else.
what's up?
Mhm.
Oh,
The
yeah,
message
for
to
sure.
Malphus, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Bastion for sure.
And
Um,
I think Chris, you did a good job of reminding us all that the pilots have a role, even though they're lower in the chain than politicians, because they're providing this source of inspiration in people that are bereft of hope and are committed to sacrificing it for the sake of stability. It's very important. We have an influence, right?
Mhm.
It's like what we do matters a lot. So we can't just be too hasty, and we also have to participate in the whole
And
process.
choosing how best to go about that.
Yeah.
So as to not be like, censored in a gilded cage. Is one of the struggles you have in life in the Bastion, in downtime and stuff like that, right?
So how do you sing?
Exactly.
That's good.
And then express the essential nature, origin, or destiny of the group.
Hmm.
I don't think so. Like
think so.
Well, when Craig said that he was going to be playing the harmony, well, maybe I shouldn't say this. I don't know. I haven't. I don't know. Did you have a plan for how you're going to use that ability? Can you? I guess this is more than implying it. But
we can talk about this on off screen, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it off screen.
All right.
Especially for anybody who doesn't really know what the harmony is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, I imagine we're gonna find a time to get into that with flashbacks and stuff like that.
Cool.
Mhm.
Great.
All right. So that's some XP,
Mhm.
and I thank you. I know this might have been a little bit of a rambling end to the episode, but I'd like to show off a full front to back session, an episode of Girl by Moonlight, and we can do some of this off screen in the future and stuff like that. Get a little bit more screen time for the action and the consequences and the role playing and stuff like that. Because I think I struggle a little bit of finding those times to have like full scenes in this kind of game. So I want y'all to push me on things if you want to like dive into things, and especially on like
cool.
downtime and stuff like that.
That's
I'll
true.
really get into it a little bit
Awesome.
more. I just wanted to push.
Make
it
sure we
today
got a full
for-
one. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I got ideas for that.
Yeah,
Especially.
and I'm okay going
Yes.
an episode over 2 sessions if we need to. If there's a big mission and stuff like that too.
Sweet.
That's true. Yeah.
But thank you all for hanging out with us and setting sail into a sea of stars with us. If you want to come talk about what you've seen here and you want to join us in Discord, that link is yeetinto.space. I haven't done this in a while. If you like our content, you want to support us, obviously feel free to subscribe and hit the like button and thumbs up and bells and all that on YouTube. But if you want to support us monetarily, feel free to come over and check us out on Patreon. You can give us a little less than $1 a month to be part of the Cool Kids Club. And
That's
that link,
staylucky.club.
that easy link is staylucky.club. Thank you. I knew that one. I was just rambling a little bit.
That's all good.
But thank you all. We're gonna set sail and we'll see you back here next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.
See you soon.